What's up? What's up? It's your boy Ian Vaughn, the R&B ambassador, host of the Can We Talk R&B podcast. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. I have a very, very special guest. Now, this guest here, you guys are used to me. Obviously, this is what we do. Singer-songwriters, artists, producers, executives. We have a very special guest, and I would say we may as well put the title legendary on top over his name because he's a businessman, he's an executive, he's a creative, and he is a curator in the R&B space. Man, we have none other than my man Jabari Johnson from R&B Only. Bro,
Yes,
what's good?
What's up, my boy Ian, man? This is great, man. I love I love, man, what you're doing for the culture and everything with Can We Talk R&B. Like, it's incredible, man. And I for those that don't know, man, let's just go straight into it, man. Like, I ran up on Ian when I first met him. Okay, I was already a fan. I was already like tapped in with the podcast and everything. And we were in New Orleans, man. I saw you and your lovely wife walking down the street, and I said, I know those locks from a mile away. And yeah, man, I was just like, man, this dude is too fly, and the hairstyle is like exactly what I see when I'm watching you on YouTube. Yeah, and I ran up to you, man, and it was on from there, man. We've done some work together. You've been on our platform, now I'm on yours. It's incredible.
Man, bro, thank you so much for that, for those flowers, man. But I appreciate you because, I think I messaged you maybe a week or two ago, ironically. This is before I knew we had this schedule. Just to let you know how much you inspire me, man. Like, I've been watching what you're doing, man, and it's just been such an inspiration to me. And, you thanking me for what I'm doing for the culture. I'm thanking you for what you do for the culture. What's funny is I want to say this had to be maybe 2018 or 2019. I was in New Orleans and some friends invited me out. There's this event going on, Ian. It's around Essence Fest. There's an event going on, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And I'm like, they know I'm like the R&B guy, so I was like, yeah, I got this. There's a Lucky Day thing going on at Studio B. There's this other thing going on. I was invited to all these different events, and then it was like, nah, you should come to this R&B. It's called R&B Only, and I was like, all right, cool. And I had never heard of it at that time. So we bought the tickets, we come, and man, I had such an incredible time. Like, it was like a sold out crowd at the Fillmore.
Yeah. I was gonna say, was it at House of Blues or was it at the Fillmore?
It was at the Fillmore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we've been in New Orleans for a minute, so we graduated from House of Blues to the Fillmore.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so we're there, and I mean, everybody, I felt like the outsider because I'm like, well, why didn't I know about this? Because it was so lit, like full production, stage lighting, looked like an artist. I think you guys did have someone come out and perform, but it looked like it was a tour, like for actual artists. So for those who don't know, let's just keep it a buck. R&B Only is, I would think, the biggest R&B party, concert, event, celebration that's going on right now in the world. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I have to just, the numbers don't lie, man. And I say it respectfully and humbly. It's taken a long time to get here. It's taken 10 years, and we're very adamant about always calling our production a show. One of the main reasons is because anybody can throw a party, but not everybody can produce a show. But then also, our show is really like a hybrid of what you feel and experience when you go to a party, but the storytelling and the production and the intentionality is that of a concert. So we call it a show because it's just like right in the middle. And we've been able to develop an incredible fan base who's been rocking with us for 10 plus years now, man. We 10 years deep in this thing.
Man, congratulations, brother.
And yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. And so, just when it comes to sheer numbers and amount of shows and, tickets sold, there is no other live touring R&B, entity, I'd say. I have a name for these like touring things that are not artists. I call them NATES. It's my acronym that I made up. It's called a non-artist touring entity.
Come on.
And that's what we fall in the category of.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of them out there. And first off, also there's a lot of them out there that are not R&B related. And I would still say that we're the largest of all of these sort of touring entities, especially in our country in North America. There may be like a few others that are bigger than us. Like there's a there's something called Bingo Loco, like that's like touring bingo nights.
Wow.
But they're in like multiple countries, and shout out to
Gotcha.
them.
Nice.
They do it all across the world. But yeah, other than that, man, I think we hold the title for the
Man, you guys
largest.
are in the tier of your own. I mean, just doing some basic research, and you can correct these numbers. You
Yeah.
guys have sold over 250,000 tickets.
No. That's yeah, man. We're way over that, man.
Come on.
We passed 750,000 now.
Come on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're
Flex.
chasing that million.
Man,
Hopefully in the next year and a half, we reach that million.
that is amazing. It just makes me
Hmm.
think of you build it and they will come. You know,
Yes.
that statement, I learned that a long time ago when I was young. I grew up in church, and my uncle was a pastor and had his church, or he's a pastor and had his church. And I remember they were talking about building a new church. And
Hmm.
he was just basically like, look, we don't have this many, we have this many members, but we want this many. If you build it, they'll come. And
Yeah.
I took that to really everything that I've done in my life, right? So it's like I've started a bunch of businesses. I've worked as a promoter. I put on shows, all that.
Yep.
I understand the landscape of that. And it's just amazing in the power of you deciding to do something and
Yeah.
just doing it. So let's talk about
Definitely.
how you even got to the place of deciding to start this thing.
Yeah, man. Well, everybody who knows me and knows my background is they know I'm a hip hop kid through and through.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I bleed hip hop music, man. But at the same time, like R&B and hip hop are like cousins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all black music at the end of the day. And I came up under two incredible parents that loved music and had like such a such a just like a music was such a part of my life, man. And even though my parents were split up, my dad lived in New York, my mom lived between New York and Columbus, Ohio. Like each household, music was just a really big thing in my life.
Yeah.
So I grew up just like knowing where like hip hop came from, and they're both from the Bronx. You know what I mean? So like
Mm.
they're just both from the birthplace of hip hop. They would tell me about all these old stories of like just being in the park and these jam sessions, and like literally like I would go to the Bronx, and Grandmaster Flash would be like literally somewhere, and my aunt is like, "Oh, Flash, what's
Wow.
up?" You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like
Wow.
I have that type of like uh
DNA essentially.
DNA, yeah, you know what I mean? It's really instilled in me, like really from a young age.
Yeah.
And then my mom was more on the R&B side. So my mom, growing up just playing like, you know, I'm Sunday mornings is caught up in the rapture of love. You know what
Come
I
on.
mean? Like and
Yeah.
like we cleaning the house. You know what I mean? Like so, it's like I
Yeah.
always had that really soulful element of music coming from my mom. My mom was really, and especially I grew up in the '90s. I'm an '80s baby, but I really grew up in the '90s. So
Yeah.
like that was the peak neo soul movement. You know what I mean?
Oh
And my
yeah.
mom
Oh
was
yeah.
just into you know Erica Badu is one of her favorite artists, right? So
Come
like
on.
that stuff, every single album is playing like when I'm in middle school, high school, this. So really, I think that's where it really began. Is just like the music that was seeping into me from a
Yeah.
young age. Um, and then when I was in high school and then when I went to college, I was managing artists and stuff like that. I just thought I knew I wanted to be in the music industry, but I didn't really know in what capacity. And
Sure.
so I started managing acts, and then I started interviewing acts when I went to Howard, and I was interviewing everybody I could get in communication and contact with. I was really early on with artists like, Nicki Minaj and Justin
Yeah.
Bieber. I was doing interviews with them. I was literally
Yeah.
like, hey, if you're ever in DC, please like let me interview you. I'll help you like promote your songs. I'll help you do this and that.
Yeah.
And and I would send artists and their managements and their press contacts. I would send them all emails, and people were biting. And I was just, I started to make a name for myself in that realm. Then I graduated in 2008, which was like the worst time. It was the financial crisis, right? The housing market had crashed. One of the
Yep.
worst times ever for
Yep. For most
like
Americans.
new, yeah, most Americans, right? Let alone like new entrants into the job market, right?
Absolutely.
And so I was like, man, I thought I was, you know, gonna be the next Terrence J on, I thought I was really literally in the runnings to host 106 in Park.
Wow.
Um, yeah, man, and I made it to like the sort of like final stretch of that, and then I got beat out, or I would, yeah, beat out. The person who got ended up getting the gig over me was Bow Wow,
Right. Gotcha.
and so he had like the last sort of stint of that, and I was just like, man, what am I gonna do? And then, I literally had moved back to New York from DC. I had graduated from Howard with my degree in advertising and communications, but I was like, this music thing is calling me. I just got to find the right opportunity. And then
Yeah.
a job opened up at Capitol Records, and I started doing like social media there. I was one of the youngest people hired at Capitol, and I was doing like social media. And one of my first artist projects that I ever worked on. And this is ironic because like it's this long way of like how I'm still not even at the point of how I got into R&B only, but
Yeah.
um,
No, I
but
love it. I love it.
I started working on this young, incredible, talented young woman over there, working on her marketing. She doesn't even probably know or remember or anything because she was so young at the time. And I was talking to management, really not her, but Priscilla Renee. And
Come on.
for those that don't know, Priscilla Renee is now Money Long, and I was like, that was like my first assignment at the label,
Wow.
and so I was helping, make marketing campaigns for her, running little stuff on social media. And this is in like 2000, like 10. So we don't even really know what social media is back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so after that, I started working on bigger artists. So Cali Swag District was one of the artists I was working on. I helped make
Mm.
Teach Me How to Dougie go like 4x platinum.
Come on.
Um, Man, worked on some of Snoop stuff, worked on Katy Perry, which was a crazy learning experience, being able to
Wow.
like do digital marketing for like that caliber of an artist.
Sure.
Um, that was
Yeah.
incredible.
She was larger than
And
life at that time.
oh my gosh, man, still, I believe she has like this album that we were working on at that time. I think it has like the most number one singles or something like that. I think she has like
Wow.
a record with like Katy Perry has multiple diamond singles, like
Yes. No. Oh,
multiple.
for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I
Sure.
think she may be up there with like the most diamond singles. It's some crazy stat like that.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, man, like California Girls, that was one of the records that I was like working on. And it was a large team working on that stuff, but just to
Sure.
even like be in the conversation of like, yo, this is
Absolutely.
how we're gonna market this stuff. I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot from marketing my own videos and stuff on YouTube, but then I
Right.
also learned a lot from being in that building and working on such a plethora of artist stuff.
I
And
can imagine.
then Oh, it was crazy, man. And then after that, well, subsequently, like when I was doing that, I was also having like events, and I was having more hip hop focus. Like these were actual parties. These were not shows. These were like
Yeah.
bunch of people in the Lower East Side in New York, and then
Yeah.
I would sometimes do them in DC because I was working with Capital. They would fly me out to LA a lot, so I started to build like a friendship and a network of people out in LA,
Yeah.
and I eventually left the label. I went to the UK to work on a documentary on an artist named Tiny Tempa. So I did that. I then did a documentary on the Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Like these were all kind of like short form documentaries. Um, and ultimately, man, I was like, man, I want to make like content, and I want to make music related content, but that was really not paying the bills at all.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
was funding it myself or using like crowdfunding like
Yeah.
mechanisms to fund these projects, and but what was making money was the parties. And so like while I wasn't working at Capital anymore, I was like funding my life off of these events. And I
Right.
just kept on with the hip hop parties. And eventually at the end of those hip hop parties, like I would always play like R&B sets to kind of calm the energy down. Cause
Oh,
this is in the era of like ASAP Ferg, like
oh,
Gucci down to the socks, like a
yeah,
boom.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? It was like turn up hip hop music,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It wasn't the hip hop that's kind of popping now, which
Sure.
is kind of on a lower frequency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so people would be leaving these things sweaty, just like
yeah.
tired. And I was like, guys, we need to like slow this down. So I would instruct my DJs, hey, like R&B sets for the last hour and a half.
Come on,
And what happened is people started attending the events just to come for the R&B.
R&B
And I was
set.
like,
Come on.
what in the world is going on here? And I was like, I love R&B, but I was like, man, this is so different. This is like when you see all these people like singing their hearts out to these
Yeah,
records, I was like, and it was like older R&B, newer R&B at the time. This is the time when Janae's first starting to get on the scene, and you
yeah,
know, like,
yeah.
and we're doing the stuff in LA. So it's, you know, Ty performed at one of my super early
Come on.
events. You know what I mean? And like Ty's
Yeah,
popping out doing Paranoid, and it's
come
like
on.
it's just a vibe in LA and in DC and in New York, especially in LA though, because that's where I started everything. And
Yeah.
man, I remember, I'll never forget it, man. I said I brought the DJ's fader down. I would always host the shows or the events, and I brought the fader down, and I said, hey, if I did an R&B only show, would you guys come? And the crowd went crazy, and that was 10 plus years ago at this
Come
point.
on.
And and that's how R&B only was born, man. It came from literally me being so enthralled in hip hop, but understanding that R&B is something that is like just as important in the culture. And I was integrating R&B into my hip hop shows, and it just the people wanted it, man, and I felt that it was underserved, and there was a need for like a DJ driven show that is almost like what you see in like the EDM world,
Yeah.
but for this specific genre of music. And I thought that I could blend the two, you know, and here we are.
I love that, man. That's an incredible story. I think about what you're talking about and say, like I'm from Louisiana, and when you go to a hip hop show, fights break out. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying? You know what I mean? Like it's specifically how it used to be.
I've been to a few functions down there,
So you know
and
what
it
it
is
is.
active. Yeah,
Yeah, especially when you again, but the DJ is the MC is, you're kind of, you're the master ceremony. You're controlling the room,
yes,
and when it get the little two turn, the vibe can get, not every time, but it can
can
get
get yes.
a
Hmm.
little weird different times. But when it comes to R&B, it ain't never that. You know what I'm saying? It's always a higher
Yeah,
frequency. It's always a better vibration. I
yep.
love that. Where did you get that business acumen from? To be able to to execute that, because I myself, obviously I'm a creative, I'm an artist,
An
all that,
artist,
but
yeah.
I'm equally a businessman.
Hmm.
And I've always been kind of caught between the creative side of myself and the business side of
Yes,
myself, which are two totally
yeah,
different people.
very
So
much so. Yep.
how did you or I guess where did that come from for you?
Man, that's a great question. And I feel like I'm wearing both hats all the time, and I'm in different, you know, I'm in my creative artist mode on so many different, you know, occasions in a day or a week. But then I'm
Yeah,
also in business mode and executive mode oftentimes too. I mean, I have to be because I run this company with, you know, 10 plus employees and, you know, 60 different contractors that we have working
yeah,
on live shows and live events across the country at any given time. And so I would say, where did it come from? It really came from me always doing stuff myself. I think it really came from a need to 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 learn business, right? Like when I was young, I just loved Rockefeller Records, and I loved Dame Dash and Jay Z and Biggs, and I would
yeah,
read the back of every CD and see who the hell was working on this, and I
yeah,
would, you know, I would look at the addresses and be like, oh, this came out of this office, and then I would try to figure out who else worked in the office, and just so I could find as much information as I possibly could about like how to get into the music industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and then when I started managing acts, it was like, all right, well, I'm just emulating whatever little bit of information I see that Dame is giving off, or you know what I mean. And then like even on the R&B side, like I understood that like LaFace was
Yeah.
Babyface and L.A. Reid, and like how they were creatives and artists, but they started like an infrastructure and they started their own label and they signed acts and they executive produced things, and like that was just extremely inspirational to me. And
Absolutely.
so I just always tried to like emulate the generation that came before me, you know, or the generations that came before me, and you know, see what they were doing and just see how I could like, you know, put my own little twist and spin on it. But mainly because I never, you know, I had no other choice. I
Yeah.
just I had to, all of my ideas, I really, you know, I never had like partners or investors or stuff like that. So I always kind of had to do it myself and learn
Figure it out.
as I went. Yeah.
Man, you're ministering to me because that's me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm. Hmm.
I've done a lot of really cool things as a business guy, but never had a lot of partners, never had and shout out to the guys who I have been able to partner with on different things, but
Yeah.
I've had to get out here and make it on my own. And I think that's made me the tenacious, personality and business guy that I am. And
Yeah.
again, still always ever building relationships and building things and creating things, but it's a lot harder on you when you're in it by yourself. But
Definitely.
you also come out a lot more powerful. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Hmm.
I
I would
think
agree,
about
man.
a lot of artists, and I'm sure you've probably experienced this. There are a lot of artists that have been signed to labels for the bulk of their careers, and then when
Hmm.
they have to switch to
Like
independent, or
independent. Yeah.
they don't know what to do, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I know what to do. All you got to do is this, 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 and this, because
Yeah.
I've had to do it for the last 20 plus years. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this felt like this major. So that's very important to, as a business person or as an aspiring business person, don't be afraid to explore and try to do it yourself, figure it out, because you will, if you're serious and you're dedicated, you will figure it out.
Absolutely. And it's just like we're still learning constantly. It's like I have a
Absolutely.
whole staff of people right over there, and they're
Yeah.
working on a ton of stuff, and I'm still learning constantly,
Yeah.
whether it be from them, whether it be from just things that I, you know, don't know, whether it be from like partners and people who we work with on a
Yeah.
daily. And then, you know, now it's like the thing is, man, nowadays there's no excuse because this young generation, they have what we didn't have, which is AI.
Come on.
And now
Come on.
everybody, the playing field is so level. It's like as I'm getting into releasing music more, it's like I didn't really know about like the publishing side of the music business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like as I'm learning about that, man, and it's like I have AI help essentially teach me about publishing
Sure.
for the last 2 months, and I've learned so much. You know what I mean? Way more than I could ever think of from like reading a bunch of books on it. It's like because this
Absolutely.
stuff is so like the
It's
AI is
precise,
tailored
right
to
to what
me.
you need to know. Yeah,
Exactly, exactly. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So yeah.
That's awesome. You know what? That's funny. I remember back 2001, maybe. I went to I went to an ASCAP publishing conference,
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
it was like class. And I'm sitting there, and I remember leaving with this little pamphlet, teach you
Mm-hmm.
about radio royalties, teach you about mechanical royalties, teaching you about
Yep.
like performance royalties, all of this stuff. So when I'm regurgitating this stuff now, I essentially went to school, not just from that one conference, because I went to multiple conferences. And it's
Yep.
it's
Yep.
it's interesting to hear you say that, how AI, if you, no matter what you want to do in business, whatever, you type that joker in open AI or in chat GPT, and it's gonna give you the
Yep.
information, just
And
that's
imagine
crazy.
like those conferences, right? Like you had to spend all kinds of money on flights, hotels.
That's right.
You had to literally network. You had to wait for somebody after they speak to go and speak to them. If you had a
That's
follow up
right.
question,
That's
it
right.
was, man, we came up in a different time, brother. And, you know, these kids, man, I just, you know, I hope that they realize and understand all of the tools that are at their fingertips, literally, and
That's right.
just
Well,
take
we
advantage of
walk
it.
so they can fly.
Yeah, for sure. They ain't running; they flying.
They ain't running,
Yep.
they flying. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears a bit. Um, what's your favorite R&B song and why?
Oh, this is so tough, and it changes all the time, bro. Like it really does, man. Like it's, but I'm gonna, and when I say it changes all the time, I'm like, I'm working on a record right now, and
Yeah,
I'm, sampling some stuff. I'm sampling a lot of stuff right now,
yeah.
but you know, today we just announced this show that we have coming up for BT Weekend, and it's with
Okay.
Jagged Edge, right? We're
Come on.
like,
Shout out to
we're
JE.
man, JE. It's actually Jagged Edge, Eric Bellinger, Donnell Jones, and us, which is so crazy to say. I mean,
First of
we've
all,
been on like,
hold on. I need to be at that. First of all, I need to
yeah.
be at that.
I
Yeah.
got you, bro. Just pull up to LA, man. You already know.
Done,
It's gonna
done.
be crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's at the YouTube Theater, which is literally like it's literally down the street from our office, man. It's such a homegrown thing. It's like,
Nice.
man, for to be on this show, and shout out to Live Nation Urban. It's like to be on this show. Not like we're performing a special set. Shout out to my homegirl Tierra Monique, who's one of our in-house DJs. It's her and I on the show. We're gonna be performing a set on the show as well as hosting like the whole show, right? So like
Nice.
DJing and hosting in between acts, and really making sure the energy is there
Yeah,
for BET Weekend. It's the
for sure.
R&B show for BET Weekend, a part of the BET experience.
Yeah.
Um, and so like,
That's my birthday weekend, by the way. So I'll
oh
definitely
wow,
be on
man.
it.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got to
you
pull
got
up,
to know.
bro.
Oh
Say
yeah, no
less.
question.
Yeah.
No question.
Um, so we're I say that to say like, I would have probably told you like a Usher record maybe last month,
Yeah.
but I'm just so like in this mode because like I'm working on a sample of a Jagged Edge record, and then I'm
Yeah.
also like gonna be performing with them,
Yeah.
and I just like, I don't know, man. I Gotta Be that song, like it just
I'm gonna
it,
be the
and
one you
and you
love.
know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
It's just like it's just I watched your interview with them recently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those guys, man, they're so like they wrote so much of their stuff. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? Like it's like and
classics.
no shade to any artists who use writers, and you know what I
Of
mean? Like
course.
that's a part of the game. Like I
Of
get it.
course.
Like but like I still feel like 25 years later, these guys are like so underrated. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They are.
and I think that they have this cult following though, man. Like, and such a their fan base has such a deep like reverence for them because that music, man. It was just like it was from the heart, and it
Yeah.
was them. It was their pen. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
some things were collaborative and all of that, but I'm just
Of
like,
course.
man, I just respect what they've been able to do as a group, and one of the things that you guys were talking about, the fact that they stayed together and that they're
Yes.
still rocking. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yep.
it's So I say all that to say, like, I mean, sometimes it's a Luther song, sometimes it's a Chris Brown song, sometimes it's a Jasmine Sullivan song, but right now
Mhm.
it's Jagged Edge. I Gotta Be.
Yeah. I like to ask that question because it's the same for me. I can never answer it definitively with one song. It's just no way
Yeah,
possible.
it's hard. It's too hard.
It depends on how I'm feeling today. Like today, one day
Hmm.
it's got to be, one day it's Joe All That I Am. One day it's it's
Hmm.
a R. Kelly or a Boyz II Men song, whoever,
Yep.
Jodeci. So I feel that. I feel that. So first of all, Jagged Edge. Let's just touch on that. Jagged Edge, Donnell Jones, Eric Bellinger, and who else is on that?
Yeah. And then us, R&B only.
And R&B
Me
only.
and
Man,
Tierra
that's gonna
Monique.
be
Yep.
that's gonna be sick. That's gonna
Yeah,
be
man.
sick. That's
Yeah,
crazy. So
it's gonna be a
let's
fun
talk
one.
about the project that you guys are working on right now. So
Yes.
um first of all, you guys, when you dropped the record, and I'm just thinking of it now, so I don't have it in front of me. But the record with Keon
Anniversary.
Dixon, Anniversary,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they the acapella joint.
Yes, sir.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
How'd that come?
Appreciate
How'd
you.
that even come about? Like, who thought of that? Like, we just gonna do this harmonies? Like, tell me about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So I'm gonna keep it all the way real, man. And I like I'm inspired by so many different things.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend, shout out Jaylene, she sent me a Gap commercial, and it was like they were singing every step back and every
Yeah.
shining at me. That Janet
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah.
What I
The
forget
Janet
the name
Jackson
of the
joint.
record.
Yeah, I can't
But
think of
Janet
her name
Jackson,
right.
right? Where she had the red hair as like that
Mhm.
era. Um uh and but they had done it like a cappella in like a like it was, I'm gonna send you the as soon as we get off I'll send it
Yeah,
to you.
send that to me.
But they were just in like a studio, and it was like they were all wearing Gap clothes, and it was just like a very, them classic Gap type commercials.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw this, and I was just like, immediately, I was like, whoa, this is fire. Like, I was like, I got to do something like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I'm gonna do something like this though, but I'm just gonna take it to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, all right, it's our 10-year anniversary. I'm like, yo, I got to have some of my favorite R&B artists singing Tony's anniversary.
Come on.
And so, I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm like, I literally had like not like a whiteboard or anything, but like I just like write notes on my
Yeah, just mapped it out.
on my phone. I mapped it out, but like I'd be thinking in my brain, I'm like I got like a whole digital screen, and I'm like, all right, cool. Who's the people to put on this thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, I was like, who do I go to for something like this? I really want it to sound incredible. And I was just like, I'm not from LA,
Yeah.
like, but the city has just embraced me so much.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've lived here for more than I've lived anywhere else in my
Wow.
entire life. You know what I mean? I'm coming on like 13, 14 years in the city, and
Come on.
I've always been a kid who bounced around and moved around a lot. So this really has always felt like home to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I got to go to people from the soil, like people who just like, because it was important to me, like in the 10-year anniversary in the city that I started it in, like I gotta have some folks from LA
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that I rock with heavy
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
joint. And so the first people I called, man, was Kenyon Dixon and Eric Bellinger.
Yeah.
And I
Shout
was
out
like,
to both of
these
them
are,
boys. Yeah.
yeah, like these guys are just so talented, man.
Yeah.
So uh have been some of those artists that are just like literally we can be proud of where R&B is going, especially when you're talking about male R&B with
100%.
guys like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they take it seriously. I mean, like Kenyon Dixon to me is like he's like if Tank goes by like the general of R&B, which
Yeah.
that's his like nickname,
Yeah.
Kenyon Dixon is like the knight or like
Come
the
on.
he's the guy on the front lines for the culture, man. You know what I mean?
Man,
Like, and
I love that.
he's just ready to go. He's ready to fight for this culture.
I
He's
love that.
man, he's just I just love what he represents and
Yeah.
love him as a person and love him as an artist. Just all that. And
Incredibly
let's love,
talented.
yeah, incredibly talented. I mean, pen game is nuts,
Pen's
man.
crazy, vocals crazy,
But yep,
arrangements,
everything,
unique
everything.
harmonies. Man,
People don't know
Kenyon is
that he
one.
can dance too, man. Kenyon is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
dancer as well, and
Come on.
that's a whole another thing that people got to tap into. But
Yeah, yeah.
so I was like, let me call these guys. They immediately said yes. And then I wanted to round it out. You know what I mean? And brought in my homeboy Dende, who is a young artist from Houston, Texas,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Shout out to
signed a
Ding Ding.
Def Jam.
Yep.
Incredible. He's done work with me in the past, and then I brought in an amazing young talent from Tampa, Florida, named Amanda Adams, and she's the one who hits that run at the end. She had
Come on.
finger waves, and she goes for you, and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, shout out to Bryson Kemper, man, who's you know, my guy who he works on a lot of my arrangements with me. Um,
Mhm.
you know, me and him connected, and I basically just told him the vision, and then you know, we just hold on. I'm missing before I even. There's two more artists that I had on there. Kels, uh, she's from Atlanta, young lady who's just on the come up. I literally we just had her come in the office and do singing in the
Nice.
shower, and she blew me
Nice.
away. And
Come
I
on.
was like, "Yo, I gotta add you to this thing." And then we also had Jalen Josie, which is another Def Jam artist. Um, Big shout out to Jalen Josie. She came through.
Yeah.
And this is, this is it's a crazy time, man, because we shot that video literally, bro, right after our city went through the fires.
Oh, right
And
after
and
the
when we were,
fires. Wow.
I mean, it was right after, man. Like it was like we didn't even to the point where we didn't know that we were gonna be able to shoot it or not because the
Gotcha.
city was shutting down and it was like
Yeah.
a lot of places were still burning. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
man, it was we recorded it. And we shot the visuals the next day. And it was funny, Ian, because I want everybody to go check it out, man. Just go to YouTube and type in you can type in just Jabari anniversary. You can type in
Yeah.
R&B only anniversary. It'll pop up. But the crazy thing about it is like initially it was just meant to be a like like a video, like a promo commercial type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, as we're in the studio, like a lot of the artists, like they bring me to the side, like we're in the control room or something. They're like, "Yo, you trying to put this out, right? Like you trying to
Yeah.
like
Do this
you
for
want to
real.
put." And I was like, I was thinking that in the back of my head always,
Yeah.
but I was like, I just was like, I know it's like gonna be good, but once we got that whole thing recorded, and Bryson, he also mixed it. He wasn't just the arranger, and
Yeah.
me and him would go back and forth on like, all right, like little notes here and there. And when we finally got it right, man, it was just like, yo, we got to put this out. You know what I mean? Like we got to make this available
Got
on
you.
the platforms, and and we did, man. And we had this whole rollout where we dropped it on Valentine's Day, put it on the DSPs that same day. Valentine's Day ended up being on a Friday this year, so it was like just all perfect in terms of
Man.
like the rollout. Um,
Yeah.
and we pushed it, and we're still pushing it, man. And it's crazy because we're able to we're in a very unique position because I can integrate these things into our live experience.
Yes. Yes.
So we use the video as like an intermission video when we have shows.
Nice.
And we started before it was even out. We were teasing it at like 8 different cities. We teased it,
Nice.
and
Nice.
it's crazy because like we look on the back end and we see the Shazam numbers go
Mhm.
crazy. I mean, we put QR codes up and everything, but like a lot of people will be Shazamming it at our
Yeah.
shows, and then they'll get it on their phones and stuff like that. But we've been
Yeah.
able
Yeah.
to use like the show to help promote the song and the video, and yeah,
That's
man,
such an
that's how it all
awesome.
came
It's
together, man.
awesome
And
that the business model is awesome that you can integrate. First of all, it's a live show. You already have, X amount of thousands of people there to introduce a new artist, to introduce a new song.
yeah,
It just makes sense. And
yeah,
shout out,
man,
first of all, even using that song "Anniversary," that's one of the greatest R&B songs ever. And
classic. And that's
God
why I was
bless.
so I had to do it right. You know what I mean? Like like
Yeah,
you don't want to, bro. Like that was my first time putting out a record. That was I mean, technically on this side, right? But
yeah,
like and R&B fans, man. They're like this R&B. Like, can I curse on here a little bit,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
this R&B shit
yeah.
is like it's religious, damn near. You
That's
know what I'm
right. That's
saying?
right.
Like,
That's right.
and it's like you cannot like mess up
That's right.
classics and stuff
That's
like
right.
that. You know what I mean? So
That's right.
I was really and again, like for me, I'm always like, okay, like the members are gonna see this. You know what I mean? Because like I know what I'm gonna do on the marketing side. Like I know how I'm gonna push this. I know all that. But I'm like, yo, I need the guys, Tony, and God rest his soul. Like,
Yes, God bless Dwayne
Dwayne
Wiggins.
Wiggins,
That's right.
just passed, and he, like, Raphael Sadiq had, shared it on his Instagram and put a heart next to it.
Come on,
And that was it for me, bro. Like I said,
come on,
all right,
man.
bet. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo,
Yeah, that's exactly where I was
legend
about to go with
himself.
that.
Like, yo, like he saw it, he liked it. You know what I mean? He gave me a follow on the gram, and I was just like,
Yeah,
yo, what else? Like,
I'm
that's
gonna
all
tell
I
you.
needed.
When I saw it and heard it, I was like, come on. Like, 'cause I'm working on
Mm.
some music myself right now, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
like,
can't wait to
and
hear it.
oh man, it's gonna be cold. I'm telling you. I'm making sure, to your point about R&B being like a cult or a religion, it's really a standard, right? For the guys like who,
Standard.
the guys of us who are true to it or who are
Yep.
truest. And I think about Eric Bellinger, I think about Kenyon Dixon, I think about obviously Tank, and you think about guys like that who have been holding it down for, Tank's been holding it down 30 years. Um,
Legend.
Eric Bellinger, Kenyon, Eric Bellinger has been at least 15 years for sure. He
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
he didn't drop 50 albums in
Oh yeah, he
15
literally he
years.
was on stage. He was at our show in LA, and I said, bro, how many albums has it been? And I think he said four. I think he said it was a number
48 or
between
something
40
like
and
that.
50. He said
It's
48 or
somewhere
something like that. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, I didn't even realize. I thought it was like 20. You know?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly. No, but when I heard it, first of all, I was proud. I was damn proud because it's so many artists today, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
I come from the school where we judge because I'm a real singer, real musician.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a standard of quality. Not saying you got to be the absolute greatest singer, but it has to be a great song, or you have to
Yeah.
have to feel it. It has to feel like something for real. And a lot of artists I'm hearing, they aren't meeting that standard that I hold so
Are
dear.
you talking specifically male across the board, or
I'm
what?
just saying in general, but yes, it's been a lot of male R&B artists. The females have been holding it down and really raising the bar for
For damn
sure over the
sure.
last so many
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I cannot say that without giving a shout out to the male R&B artists who are definitely kicking the door in. And of course, we have the
Hmm.
Lucky Days of the world. We have
Yeah.
Leon Thomas.
Yeah.
To me, right now, Leon's the new standard. Like he's the new
Yeah.
standard,
Yeah.
of male R&B or R&B in general, but a male R&B.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you're right. The females have really been holding it down between Summer Walker, Money Long, her. I mean, Jasmine Sullivan is legendary at this point to me.
Yep.
SZA, it's a lot of fantastic artists that's killing the game. But
Yep.
those
Cleo Soul.
the
Cleo Soul is another one
oh,
who's like
Cleo's
who's
crazy.
who's she's
I love
creeping
Cleo.
up. Like
She is.
I don't think people understand that girl's even what she's doing on a touring side and how she's just
Mhm.
done these like multiple nights at Radio City, multiple
Come
nights at
on.
Hollywood Bowl. Like
Come on.
she coming over here and like cleaning up, and I'm like,
Cleaning up.
oh,
Wow.
I see what's going on. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
no smash radio hit, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No crazy visuals, no like nonsense and foolery attached
Come
to
on.
it as well. You
Come
know what I'm
on.
saying?
Come
Just
on.
like this is just pure talent.
Music. Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, she's actually one of my favorite artists coming out of like the UK, or I think, is she
Yeah,
from London or
yeah.
UK? Well,
I don't know if she's from London. She may be from London, but I know she's just out of the UK for sure.
she's out of the UK for sure. Definitely
Yeah,
one of my favorite artists, and coming from there. And again, a purist. Like just,
yeah,
it's pure. I can feel it. I can hear it.
yep.
And to me, the standard for any artist, and I know we've opened the floodgates with technology, talking about AI,
Hmm.
to where everybody's an artist now. So it's really easy to just do whatever. And I'm not bashing a lot of these guys because some of them are talented in their own unique way or whatever. They're contributing something that we all can appreciate. At the
Yeah, yeah,
same time, there is a standard that I think is required to be great, or to be considered one of the greats.
yep.
So when I think of the people, the Al Greens and the Marvin Gayes and the Stevie Wonders um, the Donny Hathaways, I fast forward to the New Editions, the Guys, the Jodeci's, the Boyz II Men's, and then you take it to the Jagged Edges and the 112s and all the other, so many in each decade or in each era
Yeah,
of
yeah,
these decades, these all these fantastic artists. And to have these fantastic, these guys that we're talking about right now who are doing such a fantastic job contributing and and holding that torch, carrying
yeah,
that torch. It's a little hard pressed for me when I see some other artists and I'm just like, man, you ain't really true to this. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, yeah,
you ain't put
I
that
get you.
work in on your vocal. You ain't put that work in
Yep.
on your guitar playing or your piano playing, or even if you just singing, just And I don't want to sound like the old head in the room because I tend to do that
Nah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I get it. I get it. But I mean, there has to be a standard, man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like that's the problem with a lot of music is when you start to remove the standard, or when the people that set the standard don't give a damn about this music, and
that's right.
that's half these labels. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
right. That's right.
the folks in the buildings, they don't care because they don't have the same emotional connection with the music. And to be
Yeah.
honest, like, I speak with my boy Al Branch about this all the time, and it's like I don't know how much these folks are even concerned with like black love. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, and that's ultimately like that's what bro. When we talk
That's
about
what we
this
do
R
this
and
for,
B,
man.
like, it's like this is black love, man. Like this is
Yeah.
like music that you know like really shows us embracing one another,
Yeah.
loving one another, and like ultimately not hurting one another. It's like it's positive. It's
Yeah.
that's not to say that you can't have like super freak nasty stuff,
That's right.
or you like all the way down to like you can have gospel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's all like this rhythm and blues
Mhm.
music is rooted in love at the end of the day.
That's
It's
right.
not rooted in like anything else.
That's right.
And and when you realize the power of that,
Yeah.
you you know you want to you want that. You want more of that. I want my daughter to grow up in a environment where she is listening to music that's telling her she's beautiful, not
Yeah.
the opposite. You know what I'm
Come on,
saying?
man.
Not making
Come on.
her like second guess herself, or
Come
like
on.
think that she's a hoe, or you know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Like this,
That's
that,
right.
and the third. Like, nah, bro. Like, so
No,
I
that's
just
so
feel
that's
like,
man, that's important. When you think even to that point, you see on TikTok or on Instagram or whatever, like when you see these junior high age kids at their prom or their little dances or whatever, high school
mhm,
kids at prom, they're still listening to,
yes,
what I'm saying, Neo from
yep,
2004. They still listening to, Keisha Cole. They still listening
yep.
to the
They
music of
singing
our era.
love.
They
That
singing
music was
love.
out when I was a kid. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Like,
That's right.
and it's like, yes, they're singing that now, and it's because there's a lack of that kind of music. Not saying
That's
this
right.
doesn't exist, because there
That's
is
right.
some of it that exists, and
That's
it
right.
just needs more of a spotlight on it.
That's
But
right.
we just need to do a better job at putting this stuff in the mainstream. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? And one of the main reasons why that's not the case is because it goes back to business. All of this stuff
Yeah.
is cyclical.
That's right.
If you don't own the means of communication and the distribution and the platform, if you don't
Come on.
own that, then
You can't prioritize it.
you can't exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so like that this is why, bro, I'm like stepping into making music and executive producer. It's not because I'm trying to be more famous than I am, or
Yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's because now there's like this music that we're making is mission driven. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and the mission is love. Like promote
Yeah.
more love. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
brother.
I'm a big fan of this, and of course, like neither of us, we don't want it to die. We want it to grow. We want it to get
That's
bigger.
right.
But also, the other part of this is like anything that's about promoting love amongst Black people, amongst brown people, amongst anybody. Like I'm
Well, them
about it.
folks
I'm
try to,
celebrating it.
no question. And when we're doing that, or not when we're doing it specifically, because we do it. right? It's just not
Mm-hmm.
highlighted. You
Yep.
know, them folks like to snuff it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, oh, that's too much, little too much love going on. We want to
Yes.
confuse some corruption or some, or some,
Yeah. Yeah.
something to disturb that. So it's definitely important for R&B artists and platforms like R&B Only to provide spaces where people can come out and just experience that love and experience
Yeah.
the purity of what these songs are about.
Yep.
I'm all about getting back to storytelling in the songwriting. I'm back to getting to you know those encouragement songs. Remember Joe had a song. Of course, like R. Kelly had like "When a Woman's Fed Up,"
Oh
and
yeah. Oh my
Joe
gosh. It
had
was. It was so vivid. Yeah.
yeah, Joe had "What If a Woman,"
What if
and
a
it
woman?
makes you think
Mm-hmm.
about, man, like we need records in the new way, not trying to
Mm-hmm.
go back to specifically to that style of songs, but saying those same messages, encouraging and lifting up the community across the board, so that the generation behind us have these things to think about. I remember
Yeah.
listening to "What If a Woman," and when he does the "What if she knocked you up and said it ain't mine?" No one
Mm-hmm.
even thought about, like, I'm like, dang, what if
Mm-hmm.
she
Whoa. What if she?
knocked you up
Yep.
and then didn't claim the baby? Like, have you thought about
Exactly.
that? And it makes you think, like, I remember being like 18 and hearing that, 19 hearing that, and
Yep.
it said, man, it just makes you want to respect women more. So
To that point, like there's a Jaheim record. I think the album is Still Ghetto, right? And it was like one
mhm,
of my favorite albums coming up.
yeah.
And he has a song on there called Special Day.
Ah,
And it's like today's a special day for
yeah.
you. And it's like these are a few things I'd like to share with you. And it's like and he talks about like doing something on whether it be your anniversary or whatever, but it's like a special day for you and your woman. And it's
That's
like he's
right.
like breakfast when you wake. Like
That's
he's
right. I
he's
remember
saying
that
all
song.
these different things, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I'm a
Oh man, you about
kid
to make me have
listening
to
to
play some
that, bro.
Jaheim. I ain't played that record
Bro,
in a long time.
I love that record, man. Like, and so
Yeah.
like like, but as a kid, like I'm listening to that, and then like what I would do, I was like, okay, it's just me and Mom Dukes in here. Like, let me do something nice for my mom. I'll put that record on. You know what
Come
I'm saying?
on.
I'll make sure like, yo, the house is clean when you come home or something like that. I rub my mom's feet or something like that. But it's
Yeah.
like it's because the music is informing me of like something positive to do, but it's not done in a corny and cheesy way. It's just like,
That's right.
yo, this is this is something. This is this is how you treat a woman, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
you can treat your grandmother like that. You can treat your lover like that. You could do,
That's
but it's
right.
like this is how you are supposed to. This is a proper way to. And a lot of this stuff is instruction. When you
Yes.
have when you have the instruction being destructive, it's destruction, literally.
That's right. Come
You know.
on. Absolutely. Man, you hitting on all cylinders, brother. And I'm like,
Mm.
I think across the board, like, think about bringing it back to the platform of R&B Only and everything that you've
Yeah.
built. First of all, I'm looking forward. First of all, when is the project coming?
Okay. So the music, man. Okay. This is what I'm album will be 2026, but right now, like I'm working on a ton of singles and songs,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna start to drip these things out. I got a little bit more of this acapella stuff I'm working on,
Yeah.
just because I feel like nobody's doing that, and I'm like
Nobody's doing that.
I'm having fun doing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm working on another one right now that God willing, we should have it out by Mother's Day, because
Nice.
it's a Mother's Day sort of like thing, but
Okay.
but nah, man. After that, I'm working on some big records with some big names, man. Um, and big names and people who are gonna come up too, like not just
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
names, but
For sure.
but
For sure.
um, but yeah. So like I would say in the summertime, you're gonna start to see me drop more music and
Yeah.
trying to put like a few records out, and then I got another big project that if I'm just going to say it here, man. Christmas album is coming,
Come
so
on.
that's another thing I'm working on.
Come on.
But yeah. So like before I put out my full like Jabari R&B only compilation album,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put out a Christmas album with a ton of R&B artists, holiday music, and
Nice.
yeah, man, just bring that feeling back. You know what I mean? Like,
I
and we're
love
gonna
it.
do we're gonna do some shows around that time too. So we're gonna do some cool stuff in the live space. We're gonna put out some incredible visuals and just just have fun with it, man. And yeah, that Christmas album is on the way. But then
I'm looking forward to that.
in between that, there will be some more music dropping, like original music. When
I
I say
love it.
original, I mean like not a cappella, but when I also say original, I mean like I'm sampling some stuff. So
Yeah.
it'll be some new interpretations of some stuff that people are very familiar with.
Absolutely, man. I love, like, again, I love what you did with Anniversary. That shit is out of here, bro. This is just like,
Thank you, man. Thank
it's
you.
just, it
Thank
gives
you.
eargasms. Like, it's just like, oh man, the harmonies are cold, the runs, the vocal
Yeah.
tones, it's all, the whole approach was beautiful.
Big
So
shout
I'm
out to
looking
my
forward.
boy Bryson, man. Bryson Camper on the arranging, man.
Yeah, shout out to Camper,
We got some
man.
more cooking, man. Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it all. Listen, man, thank you, bro. Thank you for making the time, bro. Just,
Of course, of course.
I love what you're doing, man. You're inspiring me on so many levels. And I also love to hear, where your head is at, because it lets me know that my head is in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like, because, a
Definitely.
lot of it's just like minds, and it's a lot of things that you're working on and doing are some of the same things that I see and that I'm wanting to impart into the Atmos as well. And just thank you for everything that you're doing, man, for the culture across the board.
Man, and likewise, bro. Big thank you to you too, man, because like, man, I just love everybody's with platforms, like Can We Talk R&B, you, like, the big homie Tank and Jay Valentine.
No
Like
doubt. R&B money
those are
podcast.
guys. I gotta shout them out, man. Jay Valentine just came to our show in LA, man.
Nice.
And I was recently on R&B Money podcast, and
Yes.
it's like, we need more, man. We need more
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
us in this thing. It's like, I got to shout out to my guy Austin. Austin, he runs the Instagram page R&B Music.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
they're always posting and have stuff going on in the space. I'm just trying to think of like everybody sort of behind the scenes in the culture and with platforms. Shout out to R&B
Yeah.
Radar. They're a
Yep.
big
Yeah.
platform
Radar. Yep.
on
Yep.
on the gram. Man, and like people, man, people think that this thing is a competition, and I'm like, bro,
I'm like, this ain't rap. This ain't hip hop. This
this
ain't
ain't
rap.
that. You know what I'm
This ain't
saying?
that.
Like, nah,
Right.
like, and this is all like we can work together. You know what I'm saying? And we should be
100%.
working together. We should be doing more together. You know what I mean? We should be,
No, for sure.
um, because at the end of the day, here's the reality: is like they, like even back in the day, right? It's like again the cloth I'm cut from in the school that I'm, grew up watching and witnessing is like I would see Rough Riders and Cash Money and
Same tour.
Rockefeller go on
That's
a
right.
tour together. You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? Like, and it's like, yo, like link up, do stuff, collaborate. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, and that's how the pie gets larger. You know what I
That's right.
mean? Like that's what again, from a show perspective, people know what we do there, and we got a lot more stuff coming there. We just announced our London show, so
Come on.
in June 28th, we got a big R&B only show in London coming up.
Awesome.
Um, and then we'll announce our fall winter tour run in a little bit. And we going for we had 50 plus shows on this run. We're gonna do another 50 piece. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on,
Like,
man. I love it. I
and
love it.
but yeah, man, I'm just like, you're just gonna see more stuff with us collaborating with people, being on people's platforms, and just it's just important, and it's time that we work together. And and it's like I'm so sick of this narrative. R&B is dead. Oh, where's this? And where, like, R&B is not dead. Let's stop.
Alive and
It's
well.
just tired. It's alive and well. Let's
Yeah.
just quit this rhetoric.
That's
But
right.
let's also make sure that this shit never comes back. Let's make sure that they don't even want to remotely say R&B is
That's right.
dead. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Let's and the way that we do that is by linking up and providing more spaces, more opportunity, and building
100%.
this ecosystem at large.
100.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. 100%. I love that, man. Shout out to all the platforms you mentioned. I guess I'll be remiss to not mention my boys that We Sound Crazy with Phil Thornton and Claude
Oh, I
Kelly
can't.
and
How can I
Ramon.
forget them, man? Come
Yeah,
on,
them
we
my
sound
guys.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I love their podcast, man. Oh,
Oh,
I learned so
absolutely.
much. Like I
Man,
literally learned so much when I watched their episodes, man.
Man,
And
those guys are
man,
so talented and so entrenched in the game, and just in terms of all the things that they've accomplished and done
yes.
individually and as a team. And we had an opportunity. We did a collaborative end of the year episode. It was a co-episode.
I think I saw that. Yes, yes.
That which was really fun. And that's to your point about.
Let's do it again. Let's do an episode. All three of us, all three platforms. Let's do it this year at the end of the year.
Say less. Say less. I'll put a thread together. Get that conversation going on.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, let's make that happen.
Sure.
Look, man, guys, this was a very fun one, man. We had the incredible conversation. I really enjoyed this. And as always, this is a continued conversation. So I got my man Jabari in the building, R&B only. Can we talk R&B?
Can we talk? Oh, can we talk?
Can we talk?